Good morning, guys. Hopefully you can see my screen. And today is July 20th, almost 11:30, not quite. It's 11:26. We are recording the session. I'm going to make a couple of important announcements. So those of you who are going to watch this video, you would understand what I'm talking about and you want to follow along a little bit. Okay. I'm working on the study guide. Okay. The final study guide. The final will be on the 27th of July, Wednesday. It will be available for about 24 hours. The syllabus will expand a little bit, but as of now, the last packet that we finished after exam 3 is this one. Okay, I carefully pulled out a couple of problems that we didn't do. They're pulled out, they're not here. So this is all we're going to do from volume and surface area 1. Okay, so make sure you understand that. Now, if you need help, you have to tell me. You have to hang out with me, come here, bring your questions. Okay. Now, what are we working on today? We are going to work on problem set. I think this has to be our last set. Okay, we only have 4 more lectures. Okay, really 3 more lectures. So this is the packet we will be working on. Okay, I will access it from my hard drive, so you won't see it coming from here. Another important thing, in the notes folder, there is a document called 3D formula sheet. I'm going to actually go over this. It's something you have seen, most of you. I'm going to go over this. This formula sheet is there. You want to have it handy when you take the exam. Okay, so we're going to, before we jump into our packet, I'm going to talk a little bit about this formula sheet and how we are going to use it. Okay, guys, let's see. So this is the formula sheet. Okay, this is something you guys will be teaching in middle school. Okay, now we have done these things extensively. These problems are a little different in 3190. So the volume of a cone is given by this formula, 1/3 pi r square h, where r is the radius of the base, h is this height. Okay, s is called the slant height. Don't confuse s as in Sam with h as in Harry. They're 2 different things. If I draw a cone like this and I put a slant line like this, I'm talking about the slant height. And the surface area of the cone is given by this formula, pi rs plus pi r squared. I'm going to use these formulas. I'm not going to prove them, but you have to understand this proof was done in 3190, so I'm not going to redo it. And you should know the proof. The proof is in the notes folder. This is an online class. I'm not going to ask you to prove it. Okay. Surface area of a cylinder. What's a cylinder? A cylinder is a Pringles container. Okay. I have a circular top, a circular base. The radius of the circular top is r, and the height is h. I only have 2 variables. I don't have an s. I have h and r. And the surface area of a cylinder is given by this formula, 2 pi rh plus 2 pi r squared. You have to know the formula for this course, okay? You should know how to prove it for your middle school students. The volume of the cylinder is given by pi r squared h, okay? You don't need to know how to prove it. Your students will not, you won't be teaching it because it needs calculus. This needs calculus, this needs calculus, okay? So you have to know the formulas, nothing too fancy. I'm going to write them on my Mathicon Polypad and I'm going to use them. I'm going to show you how to use them. This packet shouldn't be that difficult. The sphere one. What's a sphere? A sphere, Earth is roughly spherical. And I only have 1 variable for sphere. It's the radius. And the volume is given by 4/3 pi r cubed, and 4 pi r squared. A couple of things. When you write 4/3 pi r cubed, write it as follows: 4/3 pi r cubed. Write it carefully. Okay, the pi r cube is on top, And you can, of course, write it like this. There's nothing wrong with it. Both are correct. Don't put it in the bottom. I'm not going to write it. It's a common mistake people make and they get the wrong answer. So having said that, that's kind of the notes part for today's class, okay? You want to have a copy of this formula sheet handy for your exam. And we're going to do some of the problems from your packet. Some of it will seem a little easy. And I don't know how far we will go. We really have 3 lectures to work on, and we will see. So this is the formula sheet. I'm going to save it somewhere here. And I'm going to go find your packet from problem sets. I think I won't do all, and I will keep track the ones I haven't done. And I'm going to upgrade the, what do you say? The study guide. Okay. By the way, it's the same packet. Okay. I'm going to show you a couple. Now, there are a couple I will skip because they're repetitive. Okay. For instance, number 2 and 3 are similar. I'm going to start with 3. Okay. And you're going to do number 1 because there's really nothing going on. And just to let you know, this kind of graphics, they're all from middle school texts. So let's try number 3 as carefully as possible. So this looks like a cylinder to me. Okay. This is a cylinder. I'm going to take this, bring this guy here. And I would like to keep my formula for cylinder handy. Okay. Just a personal choice. If you have memorized it, be my guest. I've memorized it too, but it's nice to have it handy. That way we can refer to it. Okay. Now, I have to understand the volume. I find volume relatively easy. I always start with the volume personally, okay? So I'm going to do the volume first, except for my R. R is the radius, has to be 15/2, and you have to see it. 15 is the diameter. So you're going to write something like this. R is equal to 15/2 or 7.5. I'm not going to worry about the unit. I'm going to put it at the final stage. And of course, I'm going to check my answer, okay? So don't worry too much. If I make a mistake, what happens? Well, I'll fix it. Okay, we don't have anybody in class, but of course, if you show up, you can always ask questions. Now, the volume is gonna be, I'm just copying the formula, pi r square h. And pi is pi. Pi is just a number, 3.142. R is 7.5 squared. H is 17. And I am going to use my calculator to find 7.5 square times 17. I'm getting this huge number, 956.25. 956.25 pi. You can multiply it by pi. You can if you want to, but I generally don't because this is more accurate and your unit will be yard cubed. Now, I am going to check my answer. Okay. Number 3. That sounds about right. I'm going to check my surface area also. So I'm going to do my surface area in green, and my surface area has a different formula. And just to let you know, guys, this red piece gives you the area of the wall. And clearly 2 pi r square is the area of the circle. Clearly. Pi r square is 2 pi r squared. So you have to kind of understand that sometime the top will be missing, the bottom will be missing. You have to make adjustments, and we're going to do some of those. But for this one, I don't have anything missing. I'm going to just directly apply the formula. There's not a whole lot going on, in other words. You do have to understand the red piece of the surface area formula gives you the wall, area of the wall, and the blue piece, the two circular bases. I'm going to say surface area is equal to 2 pi r is 7.5, not 15. H is the height, which is 17. And I'm going to squeeze it that way. And 2 pi is pi. R is 7.5, but squared. Why? Because that's what the formula says. Now, I'm going to multiply 2 by 7.5 by 17 using my calculator. I'm getting 255. I'm going to write 255 pi here. I'm going to go back to my calculator and multiply 7.5 squared times 2. .5 squared times 2. I'm getting 11.2.5. I'm not going to do anything with pi. Okay. Now, very carefully, I'm going to add 112.5 to 255. These two. Okay. I'm getting 367.5. And I didn't do anything with pi. I'm going to leave it here, and my unit will be yard square. I'm going to check my answer. I'm going to hope it's correct. 367.5 pi, that's correct. All right, so we have it. Now, if people here, I generally pause and ask. Now, when nobody's here, I go a little faster, I guess. That's why you want to come here to slow me down. So that was number 3. Once again, you should be able to do 2 and 1. All right, let's see what's coming up. We did 3. Okay, let's do a basic. You're going to do 4. I'm going to try number 5. Just to show you how to use the formula. There's not a whole lot going on. And most of you have done bits and pieces in 3190. But it's going to be a little more challenging, okay? So don't worry too much. I know it seems a little easy right now, but it'll change. And enjoy it. So I'm going to take this, start a new page, and I'm going to bring my formula. I'm going to leave it here. It doesn't matter. All right. Cone is a little tricky, okay? When you're given a cone, generally, you are either given the slant height. I am going to assume this 13 is the slant height, okay? On the exam, I would be a little more specific. I'll draw it like this, but I'm going to make that assumption. And I'm going to draw this height right here. This is going to be my real height. I'm going to call it H. And this is clearly 4 because that's the radius. Now I have to calculate h using the Pythagorean theorem. How do I do that? Well, I say 13 is the hypotenuse, and this is also something we discussed. 13 square is equal to h square plus 4 square, and that's h square plus 4 square is 16, and 13 square is 169. And to find isolate h square, you're going to subtract 16 from 169. Let's see what we get. When we subtract 10, we get 59. I don't want to mess it up. 169 minus 59, 153. Okay, that sounds about right. Okay, what's h, guys? H is going to be square root of 153, and we have to use the calculator. And that turns out to be 153. I'm getting 12.3. Let's be a little more specific. 12.37. That's good enough for me. Of course, it's going to be inches. Now, to find the volume of the cone, I'm going to write it like this. I do need the h. 1/3 pi r square h over 3. Pi is pi. R is 4. H is, I calculated it, and divided by 3. Now, I'm going to use 4 squared divided by 3 times 12.37 on my calculator. And I'm going to leave pi alone. I'm going to leave pi right here. And let's go back and see what we can do. So 153. Oops. Okay. 4 squared, 12.37. Divided by 3. I'm getting 65.97. So my answer is 65.97 pi. Don't forget pi, yard cubed. I'm going to quickly check the answer. This was number 5. Now, the answer says 207. Don't worry yet. 207, don't worry yet. This number, calculate this times pi is hopefully 207. And pi is about 3.142. Yeah, 207. So we got it right. Okay, just to make you feel good. So here it is. Now I will need the room in the bottom to calculate the surface area. So if you would allow me to, of course, it's being recorded, to erase this. Okay, once again, as we have discussed in the past, and most of you probably know it, pi r square is clearly the area of the base, and the red piece is the area of the wall. Okay, you have to understand that. Sometimes the base will not be there, but this one is easy. The base is there. So not much to worry about. So to find the surface area, it's actually not that bad. I don't need h. Okay, there is no h in this formula. It's pi rs. Let me make it a little bigger for you guys. Okay, it's pi rs, pi r square. Pi, r is 4, s is 13, pi r square. I just copied the formula. Pi is pi, r is 4, s is 13, plus pi 4 square. Now, 13 times 4 is, I believe, 52. That makes it 52 pi. And 4 square is 16. That makes it 16 pi. And 52 plus 16 is 68 pi. That's your answer for surface area, and the unit will be yards squared. So that's my answer. I'm going to check my answer if you don't mind. $68 pi. So we're good. Now I tend to leave my answer this way. If you need to multiply it by 3.142, that's totally fine. On the exam, you can always enter it like this. There is a shortcut for pi, but I will take pi as pi any day of the week. Okay, so on the exam, you can enter the answer as decimal, square yards, and then you can, or you can say it's 68 pi, but instead of pi, you can write pi. But if you know how to write pi, that's fine. Some people do. I used to know. I don't know right off how to write pi in that keyboard. So that's our number 5. Okay, let's move on, see what's going on. Okay, sounds good. We'll do number 6. Not a whole lot going on. A real application of formulas. Not a whole lot. They're very, very straightforward. Okay, so this one is 10 is not the radius, it's the diameter. Okay, do you have to understand the difference between radius and diameter? All right, and what's our formula for the volume of a cone? It's 4/3 pi r cubed. I'm not going to bother writing it. I'm just going to bring it here, just safer. 4/3 pi r cubed. Sorry. Let's bring this guy here. That's the formula. Now, volume is very easy. You have to understand the radius is not 10, but 5. Don't make that mistake. People do make that mistake. So what's the volume? It's 4/3 pi r cubed. And 4/3 is 4/3. Pi is pi. R cubed. 5 cubed is 125. And 125 times 4 is 500. So this is your answer. And feel free to leave it like that. You have to enter pi, pi, and the volume unit will be centimeter cubed. How did we find the surface area, guys? It's 4 pi r square right here. The surface area is 4 pi r square. 4 is 4, pi is pi, r is 5. And 5 times 4 is 20. Answer is 20 pi centimeters squared. Now I will check my answer real quick. Okay, this is number 6. Now, of course, you can pause the video. Okay, I have to be a little careful. Number 6 is, this is what they're giving us. Okay. I'm going to check. So my first answer is 500 pi over 3. Let's see what that is. 500 pi good sign. I got the first one correct. Okay, 523. And the second one I got 20 pi. Oh boy, I must have messed this up. Oh, guys, I messed up the second one. My bad. I forgot the square. So it's going to be 5 square. 5 square is 25. 25 times 4 is 100. Sorry about that, guys. So it's 100 pi. Okay. So if it's 100 pi and 100 pi, I got it right now. Okay. So be careful. It's easy to make a mistake. So I'm going to pause it just for a couple of seconds. I need that time. All right, guys, moving on. Moving on. Let's see what else is coming up. So 3, 4, 5, we have done up to 5, we have done 6. Okay, this one is interesting and we'll be happy to do it. It's a little tricky, so be a little patient with me. So now you're going to see it's already becoming a little more challenging. So far, what we did was direct application of formulas, real direct. Now it's becoming a bit more challenging, okay? And this one, we'll use a couple of formulas that we know you guys probably know, and if you don't, you have to know it now. This is called a prism. What's a prism, guys? You have a polygon here, 3-sided, another 3-sided polygon, and you connect the vertices. You get a prism, okay? It's called a prism with a triangular base. So we're going to do it very patiently. Okay, guys? And actually, I'm going to do 2 of these problems for you guys. I'm going to do a 7 and a version of 7. So very carefully, guys. Okay. This height is 12. Okay. This height is 12. This is right angle. So this has to be, sorry, the height is 8. I misspoke. Height is 8, clearly. This is 12. So this piece, I'm going to draw this triangle. This piece is 8. This is 6. I have to find this edge. I'm going to call it, what should I call it? S. S for the slant length, this length, I need to find it. Okay, so I have to do it very carefully and I can't mess up. S square is equal to Pythagorean theorem, 64, 36, and that is 100. So S is square root of 100, and we only care about the positive values, 10. So this side is not given to you, but we just calculated it, and it is 10. And we're going to write it here so that we don't mess it up. Now the calculation is here. That's not going anywhere. So now you have to really carefully analyze, how do you find the volume of a prism? To find the volume of the prism, you want to find the volume of this triangular base, and you're going to multiply it by the height. Okay. How do you find the area of the triangular base? Let me write it nicely. The area of the triangular base is equal to, remember, area of a triangle is base times height times divided, base times height divided by 2. The base of the triangle is 12. height of the triangle is 8 and you divide it by 2, I think it'll be 48. I'm going to check it once again. So this triangle here has an area of 48, and there are 2 of them. Okay, 12 times 8. I think that's correct. Now, guys, if you don't mind, I'm going to erase this writing here. I need the room. And we are actually done, guys, with the hardest part. So I'm going to find the volume. Volume of any prism is you're going to find the area of the base, which we did, and then multiply it by the height. So the volume is simply 48 times 16. Okay? 48 times 16. And the unit will be, I'm going to use my calculator, 48 times 16. $768. And it'll be meter cubed. Okay. Now, how do I find the surface area? Remember, guys, surface area is simply the area of the outer surface. Here I have 2 triangles and each is 48. So I'm going to say 2 times 48. I don't have to redo the calculation. Now the base is a rectangle that's a 12 by 16 and there is only one of them. I'm going to write 12 by 16. And then I have 2 rectangles that are 10 by 16. And I have 2 of them, one on this side, one on the other side. So that's why I will have an extra 2, 10 by 16. Now I have to carefully, without messing it up, I have to calculate 48 times 2 is 96. Okay, 12 times 16 is what? $192. And 2 times 10 times 16, you can almost do it in your head. 16 times 10 is 160. 160 times 2 is 320. And now I have to carefully add them all up. And that should be, if I'm right, that should be my surface area. 192 plus 96. 320. I'm getting 608. 192, 96, 320. I'm getting 608 meter squared. Now let's go ahead and check our answers. This was 7. 608, 768. That sounds good. Both are correct. Okay, guys, I'm going to do one more like this for you because it's a little hard. I know that. Okay. So how do we do that? Let me find out what we can do. So be a little patient. I mean, I have to draw the picture nicely. That's all I'm concerned about. Let's see how we can do it. All right. Well, this is what I'm going to do, guys. You have to bear with me. Okay. Okay. It's a lot better. So I'm going to make up those numbers. Okay. And I'm going to find the volume and surface area all over again. And I don't worry about the text. It says this is a prism. Find the volume and surface area. Let's make sure this is 20. I'm just randomly choosing the number, and I will try to, I have to do it carefully. I'll try not to make a mistake. 20 meters. And let's make this 14. Let's make this guy 14. And let's make this guy, well, let's leave it at 8. Doesn't matter. Okay, so this is my new solid. All right, guys. This is my new solid. And I have to find, let me do one more thing. I have to find this slant height. I have to find this slant height using Pythagorean theorem. And I'm going to draw my little triangle here. And this base is not 7, it's going to be 7. Excuse me. It's going to be 7, half of 14. And this height is 8. So what should this be? I'm going to call it S. I'm going to say S squared is equal to 8 squared plus 7 squared, direct application of Pythagorean theorem. 64, 49. I just have to do it carefully. 64 plus 49 is 113. Okay, therefore S is 113, and square root of 113 is 10.6. What decimal place would you take on the exam? 2 would be nice. I'm not going to take off points. 10.63. Okay, so what did we get, guys? We got this edge is 10.63. meters. Oh, let's do it nicely. Let's do a good, oops, I'm sorry. Well, it won't let me erase it because the picture wasn't glued, but you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so guys, I'm going to find the volume. To find the volume, I'm going to find the area of the triangular base. The area of the triangular base base times height, the base is 14 times 8 divided by 2. I think it's 56. Okay, let me double check. 14 times, that's right. That's the area of the triangular base. We need it for the volume. We need it for the surface area. Let's do the volume using a different ink, different color. The volume is area of the base times the height, which is 20. Height, we're talking about height of the triangle. We're talking about height of the prism. The height of the triangular base is 8. Height of the prism is 20. Meter cubed. Now let me pause here and double check. It sounds about right. Okay. Now the surface area is tricky. A lot going on. Okay. I will add the two triangles. Each is 56. I'm going to write 2 times 56. I'm going to add the bottom base, 14 times 20, and that appears only once. Then I'm going to take 10.63 times 20. And I will have to multiply it by 2 because there are 2 of them. And I'll have to carefully add 56 times 2, 112. 14 times 20 is 280. And 10.63 times 20 times 2, I'm going to use my calculator. I'm getting 10 times 60, 10.63, I'm double checking, times 20 times 2, 425.20, 425.2. And to find the final answer, I add them all up. So 425.2 plus 280 plus 112. I'm getting 817.2. And the unit will be meters square. Let me double check a little bit. I don't have an answer. I was careful. I will double check a little bit, okay? To make sure if we catch anything. That sounds about right. I'm pretty confident. I didn't mess anything up. You have to tell me if I did. No, that sounds about right. So here is the plan, guys. That's plenty for today. You're going to practice some of them. I'm doing ones that I know are difficult, ones that I think I like, another way of saying it. I'm doing them multiple times, as you can see. You'll see problems like this on the exam. So today's lesson was a little on the easier side, I would say. So what's coming up, guys? Next class, I will start with this, and you're going to see these are a little messy, but they'll be fun. Okay, we'll do them bit by bit. All right, so that's the plan. I think we will need 1 or 2 classes to wrap it up. I will be able to give you on Wednesday, I'm repeating myself, guys. Make sure you do understand. On Wednesday, you have your final. You cannot miss it. It will be available for 1 day, starting on the 27th, okay, 8 a.m. We have a class tomorrow, and if I wrap up the whole packet, I will give you 2 review days for 25th and 26th next week. If I can wrap it up, I will do a few things on the 25th. Now, feel free to come to class or schedule something if you need help. Okay. I am available for you guys from 11:30 till 1 most days. Okay. I record, but we'll do at least 1 more recording. And the last 2 days of the class, I may give you a little break if you want. If you want to just hang out, that's totally fine. You want to email me, that's totally fine. But I should be able to wrap up this packet without any problem. Okay, so I'm going to stop my recording here, and I will jump out of this session. I'm going to come back. If you want to come back, you want to hang out, ask questions, I'm here, just so that you know. It's 12:11, and there won't be any recording. When people come in, they ask me math questions, I take their permission and I record. So it's not a problem. If I record something, I will upload it. It's quite likely we won't record anything today. That was our lesson for today. Thank you, guys.